Welcome to Padres Talking Padres. Jerry and I are here. Jay is, I don't know where Jay's at, but he set up the show, but I don't know where he's at. I didn't ask.
He's on the back of a milk carton somewhere.
Yeah, I have a don't ask, don't care policy. So, anyway.
How you doing tonight, Jack?
I'm doing pretty okay.
Okay.
Just
about life, or are we talking about the Padres now?
Oh, it's about everything. It's everything. I'm doing better than the lady that stole the ball, but
yeah. I was telling my wife the other day. I was like, I really do feel sorry. We know one. I really do feel sorry for ladies that are named Karen.
Yeah.
Like you. Yeah, the one we know is an extremely nice person.
Yeah, and I know a few Karens, and it's unfortunate that name got labeled, but
yeah, I'm just glad they didn't call the guys Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. Well, behind your back we do.
That's
okay. But yeah, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
But the Padres, they took 2 or 3 from the Rockies, came out really flat that first game against what's his name, and didn't score, got shut out against Colorado in Colorado.
Yeah, Freeland.
Yeah, Freeland. Yeah, at one point, I think I put he had 9 strikeouts and only had thrown 65 pitches.
Yeah.
I go, what? Okay, the game plan's not working here, guys. Let's do something. Let's make him work. Let's get into their bullpen, which we know they don't have a very good bullpen, but. And then the Cincinnati series, I got to be honest with you, they're late games, and I've been really tired lately. So the first one, I went to sleep, and it was, I think the Padres were losing.
Yeah, came back.
And then I woke up about the 7th inning, and I started watching. I go, okay, I'm going to watch it to, another inning. But then it went into extra innings, and we won. So I'm like, yes. And then, of course, the next game, 3 hits, and would we have 6 hits yesterday? Something like
I don't know. It seems to be an ongoing dilemma. I was telling my buddy Michael at the up at the casino today. I don't know. I almost don't know what to make of this team. I look at the averages, and I know I'm old school. I actually look at averages, and everybody looks at the hard ball hit. Blah blah.
No, blah. I look at averages.
But I think, wow, there's a bunch of 260, 270, 280 hitters in there. Why are we so inconsistent in our hitting? And it's frustrating. We went through a stretch of about 11 games, I believe it was, where the starting pitching. I think Pivetta went 5 innings in one, and everybody else was under 5 innings.
Yes.
And now you start actually getting some decent performances out there, and the bets are still cold.
Yeah, they're just not. I mean, obviously Machado not hitting is hurting. Arise not hitting is hurting. O'Hearn not hitting is hurting. I mean, there's a lot of guys not.
It's easier, Jack. It's just easier, as I was explaining today. It's just easier to say who is hitting, and it's. Oh wait. Nope.
Well, Merrill hit a couple times. Anyway.
I talk about consistency, though. I mean, Tatis has warmed up a little bit. Merrill here and there. I'm not. Even Lariano, who was the stalwart of since the All-Star break, has quit hitting. It's just so sporadic. Sheets has done good. Here at times. But I hear a lot of crying and moaning on Twitter. Man, I mean, there's a ton of it going on. And it's all about Schilt and the lineup. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, folks. Look at the whole lineup. Don't just keep looking at the second hitter. I mean, it's one thing if that was where the stopgap was all the time. It's not. It's
beyond the second hitter right now. Now I know they're just not getting. But be fair, they're not getting any production from whoever they put there.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6 hits, like you said. 3 hits, 5 hits. I mean, you can't win games like that.
No,
not very often. Yeah.
So we got to stop complaining about that. It doesn't matter who you put there; they still got to hit. Now, me personally, I would probably put Lariano batting second. I know it's right-hander, but especially yesterday when you had the left-hander going, because O'Hearn, he's a strikeout machine, and all of a sudden, Arise has struck out like 3 or 4 times this week. Yeah. I don't think he struck out 3 or 4 times in the season. So
Again, I got to say, Jack, I mean, I know there's a drum being beaten about, this hitter and that hitter. And I'll even say this: I was mentioning the other day, this a couple of games ago, when he put Cronenworth at short. I'm like, well, hopefully that makes all the contrary talk go away and everything. And well, it didn't work either. And granted, it's only been a couple of games like that, but Schilt has literally gone to, this is my best offensive lineup, and it's still not producing, So, yeah.
Well, I don't think you lose much. I think Crone is a pretty good defensive shortstop.
Yeah.
I don't think you lose a lot there. And he's playing.
Well, you lose something by putting Arise at second.
Yeah, you do.
I think he's a stronger first baseman than he is a second. And look, everybody wants O'Hearn in there. And I'm not, again, this is not anti anybody. I think you're the same way. You hope Arise goes on one of those 4-hit tears and all that. But O'Hearn's not exactly lighting it up either.
No.
I mean, he's a strikeout machine. So, I mean, no matter, it seems like who we're putting in there, it's not working. So, I guess my signal to fans is, man, lay off Schilt, man. I mean,
I know what you can do.
What are you supposed to do? And he put the starters out there. And I was just reading today. I'm going to the game tomorrow with my buddy Michael, and we get to watch JP Sears because they're inserting Sears into the rotation because the starters need an extra blow. I mean, they're just getting tired. And I also heard on the radio, and I thought this is, I sometimes wonder, do people really think about what they're saying and saying the Padres look tired and all that? It's like, of course they're tired. It's 150 games in spring training. Yeah, they're tired. Is that okay?
Traveling back and forth. The traveling, people forget about the traveling. I mean, I'm exhausted when I travel. I'm not doing it every year.
I think they're expecting people to go, the ball players to run out to their position and do jumping jacks and bounce all over the field. And it was like, folks have a little bit of understanding, man. I mean, you can't.
Well, maybe they
game 162.
Maybe they should have gave Manny some more time off. I mean, where he doesn't play at all. I mean, he seems. I mean, I don't know what the problem is with him. He's he's going to come out of it.
Guys days off though, Jack. I mean, think about it. Like there was a middle of the season, he was DHing almost every position one night at a time. I mean, at a certain point, what we're going to do? Well, the fans are going to complain. You put Manny on the bench. How can you put Manny on the bench? I mean, we need him in there every day. Well, no,
he's got to have some.
Fair.
But I was thinking today before I said, the biggest, and I think everyone knows it, not having Bogarts and Adam is hurting us, because not having that extra arm in the bullpen, I mean, hurt us last night. I mean, I was recording another podcast and going back and forth. I go, okay, we're still up 1-0 in the 8th. And I go, the hell is Hart doing in there? Now, of course, I didn't see,
Yeah, everybody's exhausted.
I said,
can't throw guys 3 days in a row, 25 pitches.
So I was like going, oh man. And then sure enough, and Morihome came in. I'm sure Morihome was tired. He's pitched a lot.
Yeah.
And he just didn't have it.
And I think it's more than just, sometimes, I told you, there's a guy on X that puts out the bullpen usage the last 5 days.
Yeah.
And Fryer, it's very useful.
Talking Fryer or something like that.
Yeah, it's very useful. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't really talk about the year-long usage that you get to a point where it's like, you know what, you can give me a day off. And that's going to help, but it ain't going to cure what I got going on right now, And I like Michael. I like your comment. It's like, does everybody run to their desk after they park their car? Yeah, I don't think so. I think sometimes
I do all the time.
I think people do really forget that, the fatigue of a long season, and they translate that into like, they don't care, they don't look like they're having fun. And that's not it, folks. It's really not. You can care and not be smiling from ear to ear, to show that you actually do care, so.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, now we're 3 games behind the Dodgers. It looks like Mookie Betts is starting to hit after he didn't hit all year.
And their rotation is getting
I'm
solid.
And that's my biggest fear is we're struggling against average pitchers.
Yeah.
How are we going to beat Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, and
I don't know. Maybe we'll ramp up. I mean, we've had this running joke. I wish it was a joke. We had this running joke all year. It's like, gosh, I hate seeing a pitcher coming against us that's got a 5 or greater ERA, because they look like Cy Young all of a sudden, So, I think it's just part of baseball. A lot of people in our chat have watched baseball for a long time. it's a roller coaster. It's an up and down. And the fact of the matter is my best line is, yeah, I am an old guy. And I tell you what, I'll take what we're having this year over anything pre 2000 in a heartbeat. I mean, come on. This is fun. We're in the playoff. We're in the playoff mix, but
it is, I got to be honest,
can't win every game.
You can't win every game, but I got to be honest, it is boring.
When you're not hitting.
When you're not hitting, it's just boring. I mean, it just, like yesterday when Sheets got the double in the 9th inning, I said, okay, let's bunt him over to third and then sack fly and we'll start. It's a new game.
And Mariano didn't do his job.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, of course, I didn't see it. I saw the double and I was going back and forth and I go, did he try to bunt? And he failed? No.
In fact, I'll be honest with you. I'm not the mad bunter and everything, but I thought, man, if you're ever going to bunt, this is going to be it. This will be the ending that you do, and, look, Laureano's been, had been one of our hottest hitters. I think he's been over in a little bit of an offer right now, but I don't blame Schilt for letting him try to hit away. I really don't, but hey, it's baseball. Sometimes you got to do the small things, as you always like to say, to make it happen. Now, the one that I think a couple people had a little angst about was Merrill bunting in like the 4th inning.
Yeah.
And, I agree. That was a little bit much. You got first and second, nobody out. And granted, it's a tough lefter, but, man, come on. You got to let your hitters hit, man.
Well, that's what people were upset about. I read on Twitter. Again, I didn't see either inning because I was busy doing something. But I go, wow, I get that. Why would you bunt in the 4th inning but not the 9th inning when you just need a run to tie? And I think maybe Schilt. It's hard when you're a manager and you can't go out. All you can do is put the general manager puts the team together. The manager, he puts the lineup and nobody's hitting. I mean, I don't know what you can do, but it's like I went back to the 0-24 streak against the Dodgers innings. If you can take a walk, these guys got to take a walk. If you can bunt a guy over, hit and run, whatever you got to do when you're not hitting, because we're not a home run team. Yeah. So having a power surge is not going to happen. So, if like last night, after Sheets hit the double, if the Padres had been lacing balls, hitting balls, base hits, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's have a big inning. Let's get 2 runs and walk this game off in the 9th. But when you're got 3 hits, whatever it is, it's 6 hits, and it's just been one of those struggles. You gotta score the run. That's just go for the tie at home, go for the win on the road. That's the
I've always had my thing has always been, Jack, is you do whatever it takes to tie the game. After you tie the game, do whatever you want. You might try to hit and run, you might try to steal. But, when you're in the late parts of a ball game, 8th, 9th, I think that was actually the 8th, Jack, but I could be wrong. But
I thought it was the 9th.
Yeah. The bottom line is though, there is a point in the game, and it probably is the 8th and the 9th inning, where it's like, you got to find a way to get this thing to the extra innings. You're not trying to win it right this second. You're still behind by a run. And again, I'm not just bunt. I think there's just appropriate time for it. And I don't think the 4th inning is necessarily it, even though it was 0-0. It's a shame. Pivetta pitched a great game. And actually, Hart pitched well. It was unfortunate. The guy that got on was a squibber that went off to his left. And he caught a cleat a little bit, kind of like a la Jason Adam. And he got there and he tried to flip it. And it was a close play. But, he didn't give up the game. Morejon did. And you know what? I guess Morejon was just finally due to lose one. He just didn't have it last night, So, shame on us, though. We're just not scoring runs. And again, it's not that nobody's trying. It's not that nobody's hustling. AC Roden is calling today. They all feel like they're in a good place. Like their energy is high and all that. But we'll see. It's Colorado for 4 now.
Like I said, going for the tie. To me, again, it's not like the Reds were hammering the ball either. Even though Pivetta did a great, held them in check. I didn't get the strategy on that. And, and if Schilt's taking some heat for it, I really have no issue with that because, you can second guess something like that. But a lot of the stuff he's taking heat for, it's like, well, you got to put O'Hearn batting second. He hasn't produced it batting second. He just hasn't. And I'll tell you right now, if the season ended today, I'm not signing a Rise or O'Hearn. I'm going to let him go as free. I'm going to let him walk.
Off season's yet to come and all that kind of stuff. I'll tell you the other thing. You can tell this clubhouse loves Schilt.
Oh, yeah.
They love him. Tatis was walking off after the game winner the other day, and I swear he must have gave him like a 20-second hug.
Yeah.
So there is no doubt in my mind that he's got that clubhouse behind him, and they're all in, Now, look, again, we've all been plenty of teams, plenty of workplaces, things like that. I don't know if you're ever going to get 100%, especially when you've got 25 players and coaches and who knows what and everything. I don't know if you'll ever get to a point where you've got everybody, 100%. But there's no doubt he's got that clubhouse. And a little frustration Manny showing last night. Now, I don't know if that's not a little show just to kind of get the guys on track or to get himself on track for that matter, But there's some emotion there. They're getting frustrated. They know what's slipping away. It's not like, people have kind of, got this idea like, oh, they're just, I heard on the radio today, oh my gosh, oh, they're just satisfied with making the playoffs. They've just already mailed it in. They don't care,
Yeah, but
sure. No.
they want that division from the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that
you.
They hate the Dodgers. They want that division bad, and they don't want to fall out of the playoffs.
Exactly.
I mean, what we got?
It would take a large swoop for them to fall out of the playoffs.
What we got? 17 games. 17 games left.
Yeah, I mean it. Somebody put it together like I did last week on our show here. It would take a monumental dump. I mean. Somebody said that if the Padres lost every series going in and the Giants won every series going in, I mean, that's 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, things like that, it would still come down to the tiebreaker, which the Padres have.
Yeah.
So it's going to take, a lot of sweeping. And let's put it this way, the Giants and the Dodgers play each other 7 more times. The Dodgers have to play the Phillies 3 more times, and we got the Rockies, we got the White Sox. We end the season a little tough with the Mets, the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks. But compared to their schedule, let's not give up on the division title yet.
No, I'm not giving up. But I know we have to win by 4 games because they have
exactly. That's I think the tougher part.
Yeah, and what's I going to say? Shoot.
Well, it's going to take the same thing for us to win the division as we're saying for the Giants to catch us.
So like I said, when you see a Manny getting frustrated and people are saying, oh, they don't care. These guys are in the, you got Tatis, Machado, Merrill are some of the best players in the game. You can't tell me they're not getting frustrated. It's, it's anything when you're golfing and you're used to, you're not a professional, but you're good. And you're saying, okay, I just can't hit the golf ball. My putt.
Usually the thought that goes through your mind is I'm better than this.
Yeah, exactly.
And that seems to be the prevailing thought for the fans and for the players, I'm going to say, is, we're better than this. Now, I don't know. Again, people have this unrealistic views like, oh, let me just snap my fingers. Okay, we're all good now,
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Baseball is a very difficult sport. Hitting a baseball square is very difficult. And so, I'll live with this team. I can't think of much else that we can do from this point on, but just say, hey, you know what? Relax, boys, go out there and just have some fun and do the best you can because that's all they can do.
I did read where Bogart says he thinks he'll be back before the season is over.
Yeah, he's doing side-to-side drills, and he's got a little soreness in the foot still, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Getting King back was nice. I mean, granted, he wasn't lights out, but he pitched pretty good considering he'd been off for a while. He gave us 5 strong innings. I think he gave up 2 home runs, and that was about it. Pitching's coming around. Hitting will come around. Now let's just go out and kick the daylights out of the Rockies, and everybody will feel all better. Yeah.
That would be nice. That would be nice. And Freeland is not on our.
He's not on the radar this time.
No, he pitched last night.
Yeah, so
against
they got Marquez going on Sunday, and Marquez can sometimes, so yeah.
Yeah,
as usual, Michael, you have a great take.
Baseball is the weirdest sport. If you're successful 3 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. I'm talking about batting. You think about it, you go, that's pretty.
What other sport? Can a quarterback go 3 for 10 and be lauded for his great play? Can a basketball shooter, even from 3-point land, if they hit 3 out of 10, that's not good enough.
No, but baseball, if you're hitting 3 times out of 10 at bats, 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're a Hall of Famer.
Well, and that's even like to me the pitchers. We expect them they have to go out there and no hit everybody. And come on, man. I mean, you go out there and, forget what quality start and all that kind of stuff. But, man, if you can go out there and throw 6 innings and give up 2 or 3 runs, that's a heck of a start, man.
It is.
I don't care who you're facing. That's a heck of a start. So,
especially now, remember, back in the day, you had only 8 hitters and you had the pitcher in the National League.
Yeah. But it's gotten harder now. Yeah.
So it's gotten hard. You don't where's that,
And that's why I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that a lot of these guys with their ERAs in the 3s. I remember growing up that the guys that were really good pitchers were always in the 2s. It was just you had to be in the 2s,
Yeah.
And now, if you're anything under 4, you're doing a pretty doggone good job.
Baseball has obviously evolved over time. I mean, it's just like complete games were a bit, were commonplace.
Right.
Back in the day. And now get a complete game is like, oh my God, how's he going to pitch?
How's he going to
pitch the next game
anymore? I think that's the thing. I don't think it's just the pitchers don't go that long. I think managers and GMs have come to the conclusion that we don't want to do that anymore.
No, it's 100 pitches is the benchmark. It's like, all right, you got 100 pitches. And, because Glasnow had a no-hitter the other day, and he was at 104, 105 after 7.
Well, the other thing is, Jack, true to that point, is your bullpens are so much stronger than they used to be. Back in the day, you only carried 9, 10 pitchers, and 4 of them were starters, and you usually had 2 old guys sitting in the bullpen that were for the mop-ups that, like, okay, well, it's 10-1, let's pull the starter,
Right.
And then your relievers were all pitching 2 and 3 innings in a game. And you look at Iron Mike. I mean, Mike Marshall was in 110 games. Yeah, 110 games out of 162. And, it's just that they came to the conclusion that you don't need to do that. And the other thing is you got so many pitchers, and I don't know where the evolution came from, but there's so many more pitchers now that throw 95 and above. It's just almost not uncommon anymore. And so why
people
put a guy
bigger,
dying out there and when you got a guy that's from 98? Yeah.
Well, I think it was the Yankees when Ron Davis, and they had Ron Davis and Goose Gossage.
Yep.
And Ron Davis pitched the 8th. And it just was like, okay, if they had the lead after 6, you weren't going to beat the Yankees. And I know Ron Davis went to, I think, the Twins as the closer and just couldn't do it. He wasn't.
They had many a game where Ron Davis would go 2 or 3 and then Goose would finish the other one. Yeah. And that was not uncommon for them, again.
Well, if you look at the relief
Raleigh
pitchers,
Fingers and Eckersley and all those guys say, man, if I could have just pitched 1 inning for saves, I probably have 700.
Well, if you look at the innings that like Gossage and Fingers and Suter and all the relievers back then, they pitched like 130, 140 innings.
Yeah.
Now
which is a starter today.
Your relievers today, your closers, maybe 60, maybe 65. Something like that.
It might even be more than that, but your point is valid, though, Jack.
Yes,
that's just it. They're not. And again, the rule changes over what was it 3 years ago when they started saying, "Oh, you got to face 3 batters now, unless it's the end of the inning and stuff like that."
Yeah.
That changed a little bit because you had some guys that were 40 appearances and had 28 innings.
Yeah.
That
was a good rule. That was the anti-Tony La Russa rule because he would use his whole pitching staff in
it's the speed of the game, which we all enjoy a whole lot. In fact, Michael, I'm sure you, of all people, you have recognized that with those Yankee Boston Red Sox marathons that were 4.5 hours. I remember watching a few of those on Sunday Night Baseball, and it was like, holy criminy.
Well,
this thing started at 5 and it's 10 o'clock now, and it's still
I hate playing in Colorado. I hate when every game's at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
At least 3 hours. It's like, oh my God, it's only the 5th inning. What is going on here? But it's better than it used to be. Used to have those.
I'm enjoying it more. I really am. I'm enjoying it. And everybody has really understood, and it's not even, you don't even know it anymore, the time clock and all that kind of stuff. If they didn't put it up on the screen, you wouldn't even know it anymore. And I think that's good. Yeah.
It's true. But I think also back in the day, pitchers, I mean, they didn't have these long-term, it was year to year. I mean, if you had a bad arm, you had to pitch. I mean, it's like, okay, either that or my career. I mean, obviously before Tommy John, they didn't have Tommy John surgery, but there was guys that
you were done.
They said they pitched. They threw the ball, but their arm was killing them after the game. But they weren't making $150 million.
It's still hard for me to comprehend though, how guys used to go 250, 300 innings a year for 15 years. And now, 200 innings is like the new 300 innings. It's just like, okay, I know things have changed and evolved, but really that much, so I think a lot of it is still, they just throw harder now than they used to. And, you look at it used to be pretty simple. You had a curveball and you had a fastball, and then, here comes a splitter. Now now this thing called the sinker. Now you got the splinker, and then you got, the sprinkler, and, you got Darvish, who's got 14 different pitches. And I can't believe that a lot of those different methods of throwing it after a while doesn't mess with the arm.
Well, I think it's the speed they're throwing, also the spin rate, trying to get the spin rate.
That's what I mean. They got all this spin and everything, and it just
and also
not natural.
I also think too, we talked about this before. It's the kids when they're little, they're playing year round.
Yeah.
And they're playing, they're practicing every day. And like I said, I would go out and throw a tennis ball up against the garage for hours, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And I suffered from arm problems. But, plus growing up in San Diego, you could play year round. But I think a lot of and like I said, I don't think any kid should be throwing a curveball until it should be nothing but fastballs until you reach like 15 or 16.
I agree.
Because your arm's not developed yet.
Yeah.
And
straight change. That's what I taught my son.
Yeah.
Just, just throw the palm ball. All you need it's a change of difference. But anyway.
Yeah, because it's not going to tear your arm apart.
Yeah.
But I think that's another problem. But, again, like I think Michael said, these players are making so much money.
You can't, because they got those guaranteed contracts. You can't afford to get them busted. Look at what the Padres lost out of Musgrove alone.
Yeah.
I mean, one whole year, and you're still paying them.
Yeah.
You're still paying them the whatever $17 million or
$20 million.
And that's I know they have insurance and all that kind of stuff. Michael, to your point, he just get that TJ surgery out of the way early. There are kids in high school having it already. I mean, they get it out of the way. It's almost like, just go have the TJ surgery and get it out of the way because you're going to need it. We got our Colorado Rocky, coming up, and then after that we got the Chicago White Sox, I believe.
Well, no, it's the Mets first.
Mets first, and
then the White Sox.
We have to go to New York for that one.
Right. Yes.
So we get Monday off, and then we play New York Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Chicago Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we're home for the Brewers for 3 and the Diamondbacks for 3.
Yeah, which will be.
I still like the way we're headed. I know. A little sour taste on the recent play of the last 3 weeks, but come on, man. I mean, get us in the playoffs, and then that's probably not giving up the division, not giving up the possibility of maybe passing the Cubs. My whole thing is man, get your playoff berth secured before Arizona, so that when you have Arizona here, you can decide whether or not there's anything to gain or lose out of those last 3 games, and you can get your starters well rested and ready to go to Chicago, or maybe or But having said that, if we're going to win the division, it's going to come down to those last 6 home games.
Well, I know the Cubs lost their closer because he's one of my fantasy. You know my sob story about the closers. I went from being beating everyone by 50 saves, and now I'm not even. Our playoffs are 2 weeks at a time, and I'm in front right now, but I'm losing in saves because I don't have any haters on the IL. Clase was suspended. I finally just cut him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come back in September, and they're not even bringing him back yet. And I'm like, and then so I lose this guy, and the Mets traded for this Cardinal close. I can't remember. I cut him a while back.
LC,
because he's not getting any. I'm like going, this is ridiculous. I think
closers hurt more fantasy baseball players than anything.
Yeah,
you're not alone, Jack. I mean, that just seems to be the whirlwind that happens at the trading deadline because the closers seem to, the high leverage relievers seem to go to other teams, when you don't want them to. But little scoreboard watching there. Pismo tells us it's 4-4 Mets and Phils. Go.
Oh, Phils. It was 4-0 at one point.
Keep beating the Mets down.
The Mets have been struggling.
Yeah. Oh, more than us.
Yeah.
Which is saying something. Yeah.
Well, they were saying I was listening to the baseball show tonight with the guy we don't like, not Harold Reynolds, Steve Phillips.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the Mets, and they said the problem with the Mets is they're not getting any pitch. Their pitchers aren't going. It's almost like our problem.
Right. They're not going far enough.
And they have these young pitchers who are on a pitch count. They can only go so far.
Right.
Sean Manaea is not helping out, and the bullpen's getting worn out. And
again, it's the length of the year, man. I mean, we are not the only team that is suffering with it. And, look, call it blind luck or whatever, but the Dodgers went through it in the middle of the season, and now all their guys are getting healthy. We thought we were trending that way. A couple of weeks ago, we're talking about, okay, King's coming back, and then, oh, crap, Bogarts just went out. Oh, now King, now he's going to pitch again. Okay, and I'm crossing my fingers. He's going to have King's going to have another 4 starts, I believe, and they're hoping that those 4 or 5 starts are enough for him to get into shape for the playoffs. That's the hope, and that we need it because Pavetta's pitching like he's like what's Oz? What do you say? Dog. I mean, he is just. He's dogging, man. I mean, he is just
he's
on fire.
He's taken the role of Musgrove.
Yeah, he is number 1. I mean, to me, you go to playoffs right now, he's your number 1 pitcher. I mean, it is. Oz is dog, man. I love that.
Maybe she's a Georgia Bulldog fan.
I just like the way he goes after people, and we know when Michael King, he gets a couple of starts in him, he's the same way. We got Darvish who's got the experience. So, we've still got the tools to be a threat in the playoffs. Would it suck to have to go to Chicago?
Must not like the Georgia Bulldogs.
But my hope is that, we can get the offense going. This is a team that can go. It can, So, get in the playoffs. I don't care how if you told me right now, Jack, today, guaranteed, but that's all you get. You're number 6 in the playoffs. I'm in. Take me.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the goal every year. You get to the playoffs and then you see what happens.
Yeah. I think what people are frustrated is, there's so much hatred towards the Dodgers. It's like, you could taste it. We got in first place for a day or two. And it's like, okay, we got these guys now. And then all of a sudden we just straight line. It's like
at the same time they did too.
Yeah. And
which is, I think I kind of added to the frustration level.
Yeah.
Not only did they go 3-7, we went 3-7.
Yeah. It's like, come on, what is going on? It was just because it was like, all right, we could put pressure on them. There's more pressure on them to win the division and the World Series than the Padres.
I think it's one of those things that, at different levels, when the Padres, if the Padres could have gotten 2-3 games ahead of the Dodgers, I think that a lot of the tightness or whatever is happening might have been alleviated a little bit, but But when what was it? The latest we've been in the division race since 2014 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little pressure with that. And so, go Nittany Lions. Yeah. I think the pressure hits different people at different times, and it hit our pitching staff big time. I mean,
yeah.
We can sit here and complain about the hitting, but for 11 days there, that starting pitching was just abysmal.
And it taxed the bullpen too.
Yeah, and so now we're paying the price. 2 weeks later, we're still paying the price for the bullpen being overused, and now it's a matter of, to me, getting everything on the same page at the same time. And now's the time. We got Colorado coming up. Let's go just beat the brains out of them, man. Let's have some strong pitching. Let's just put these games out of reach. Let's have a couple of laughers even, and I think that would ease a little bit of the tension. I really do, because it is late enough where you start saying, 16 games. Yeah, everyone does kind of matter now. It's not game 30. It's not game 60.
It's time.
It's time.
Yeah, because if you were, obviously, I don't think it's going to happen, but if they did like a 2010 collapse, and I never really felt bad about that collapse because I never thought the Padres were that good that year. I think they were playing way over their heads and just losing 10 straight, and the Giants snuck in, and then they went on to win the World Series.
Right.
But again, you make the playoffs, anything can happen, and we do have a great bullpen. Even Dylan Cease had, I put on Twitter, I said, good outing from Cease, and this guy who follows me said, 5 innings, that's weak. I said, I didn't say great. I said good.
Yeah.
And he could have gone further, but he hits 3-2. He starts nibbling, doing stuff. I don't get that guy. He's so frustrating, but when he's unhittable.
Yeah. I think the other thing is that, and then people I'm sure will, again, I almost stayed off of X today because of all the stuff that's being said about other events that are going on in the world and everything. But it's sad. But anyway, the bottom line is
that's what's going on now on Twitter with the back and forth is worse than baseball.
Yeah, baseball is entertaining. That's I keep trying to remember that every time. I try not to deep dive into the other stuff. But I really do think that Schilt is smart enough to know I can't put all the chips in with 16 to go just to try and just drain ourselves to get in. And I applaud him for putting Sears in tomorrow night. It always makes you nervous, but I applaud him for doing it because he's right. It's like if your team needs a blow, they need a blow. You can't make the playoffs and then just be exhausted to the point where because you go right into that 3-game series and it's 3 games in a row. And if it's not at your home, that's a tough gig, and again, the way the stars line up right now, it'd be Chicago, and it's not the easiest environment to go into and try to take 2 out of 3 from a team that's having some trouble, no doubt about it. But, still, it's not what you want. You don't want to go and say, oh, let's go someplace and have to play 3 games. So, yeah.
Right. The last year was perfect because we had Atlanta, and Atlanta came here.
And Atlanta was really hurt too.
Yeah, Atlanta was beat up. So
Chris Sale couldn't pitch, and that was their one dog in the fight. And they lost Acuna, and it was just it was a shell of a team that we got to face.
Spencer Strider was hurt all year.
Yeah, no, they had to throw. What was that kid's name? But we shelled them, and we should have. So you don't always get that lucky. There's no doubt about it. But let's bring on Colorado, and then we'll get done with this. Let's do that 3-1, 4-0 kind of thing. Again, I'm not going to change my perspective of you win 3 out of 4 against any team. That's good by me.
A sweep would be nice.
The sweep is always nice. I'd like to win every game from here on in. Yeah,
that would be nice. That's what happened last year. I think that's another two. So just a name change to dog. I think another thing too is last year he just got spoiled because they just didn't lose. They just didn't lose.
Yeah, but you know what? Remember, don't forget last year our travails against Colorado.
Oh yeah,
again.
Yeah.
So every year's got this new suitcase of things that go your way and don't go your way. And so, last year was a roller coaster too. And, we had, I still say, we said it last week, I still say we had more exciting endings for the Padres last year. Home runs and walk-offs and, and late innings and stuff like that. And that to me is the element that's not there this year. I keep meaning to look it up. Maybe you already know it, but I think our record's better than it was at this time last year.
Is it? Maybe it is. But we've been consistent.
We won 93 last year. And what are we on pace for this year?
I don't know.
I don't have the.
I will say this though too, because you've complained. You started complaining this about a month ago. We just start off so slow too. It's like the first three guys, ground out, strike out.
Yeah, first inning has just been terrible, hasn't it?
Yeah. And the pitcher pitches 7 pitches. I'm like going. Yeah. It's like yesterday. The guy pitched to 4 batters, and he was at 9 pitches. I go, how is that possible? What are we doing? We swing at the first pitch on every single one. I don't know. It just to me, it's like. I mean, I don't expect to start out every game up 10-0.
Yeah,
but at least get a base hit or something in the first inning.
It seems to be infrequent that we go past the first 4 batters in the first inning. I just checked. We're at 79 wins with 16. So no, we're not going to get to 93 wins. That'd be 14-2 the last 16.
Well, if we go 16-0, 95 wins.
Let's put it this way: we're not going to hit my mark because I distinctly remember picking 94 wins this year, one more than we had last year.
I think I had 92. Yeah. I can't remember.
And Jay, as usual, was the lower side. So Jay may end up being right. Who knows?
Yeah. Damn Jay.
Yeah.
Can't even show up.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Exactly. Exactly.
So let's get some predictions here, Jack. What are you thinking? We got Colorado and the Mets.
Colorado and the Mets. 7 games. Well, I said 6-0 last week. That didn't come close. I think it was, what were we, 3-3? Yeah, 3-3.
Yeah. Two out of 3, and then 1 out of 3. Yeah.
I'm going to hope for 5-2. I almost said 4-3, but I'm going to go 5-2.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same because I think you're going to lose one of the Mets. The Mets are a very tough team. They're right there with us. I would feel good if we could win 3-1 and 2-1. I think that's a realistic goal, and it fits what we need. It really is. I mean, again, I know we say this all. I'd love to go 7-0. Of course, I'd love to go 7-0, but as Oz says, being realistic, I think 5-2 is realistic. It's like you're going against a bad team who you very well could sweep, and get the 4 part out of the way. And, then you can go to the Mets and, see if you can do some damage there. But it's a tough environment when they're in the, playoff chase. That's a tough environment to go into. They've got some hitters and their starting pitching isn't very strong right now. Manaea has given us problems, but he's been off lately. They're having trouble trying to get anybody to go past 5 innings. So, let's do that. Let's go. Let's just all agree. And Jack and Jerry, 5-2.
Oz didn't even have the undefeated this week, so
I know
that's pretty impressive.
Oz has been listening to us on Discord too much.
Yeah. What I was going to say, too,
and we appreciate you being on Discord, Oz. It's a lot of fun to do the chatting during the game and everything. I know it was just me and you last night.
I was sleeping. Oh no, was there a game last night? Yeah, I was sleeping for the most part.
Yeah, me and Oz noticed it was a 2-way street. It was just me and Oz.
Well, what are you talking about? Day before, I was the only one on.
What was the day before? I know something was going on the day before where I literally just couldn't even. I don't think I even got to watch the game.
I think it was me and Oz for a while, and then I made like 7 straight posts. I go, okay, I'm done. Yesterday,
let's face it, we all have lives, and sometimes those things kind of get in the way a little bit. Where I might like you were saying earlier, like I might check in on the game, and then like okay, and okay, and then I got to go back and do whatever I'm doing. And then 2 innings later, try to check in. And I guess the other thing for me is I don't like to get to chime in when I'm not going to continue to chime in. It's like,
Right.
I don't want to come in and then somebody ask a question or, make a comment and you're like, oh, I guess Jerry's not talking to me now. So
Jerry hates me. Well,
Jerry hates
I know.
me.
I know. I was mad yesterday because normally I don't record. Well, I'm going to start recording, but I usually don't record this one podcast I'm on. I do it on Thursday. Well, we did it yesterday, and I'm like, oh, sure, the game's on at 8:40. I could probably have watched the whole game,
Yeah.
Whereas, somebody it was the other day was like, it's already 10:30. It's the third inning. I go,
Yeah.
oh, I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
I got grandkids in the morning. They're wearing me out. I can't do it. I did want to talk about one more thing. There's, another thing on X going on is who should be the closer. Should it be Robert Suarez or Miller?
I have no problem with the way he's doing it. I really don't. I think the one thing that Schilt has shown is that I'm going to put in the pitcher who I think is best served for that situation in the game. We've seen Morejon come in the 4th. We've seen Estrada in the 5th. I mean, and we've seen Miller close a few games when Suarez in the bill. I got no problem. I really don't. I don't think it's an issue for me. I haven't heard or seen that one as much as maybe you have because most people are so busy talking about the number 2 slot in the batting order.
Yeah.
It's everything else is just whatever.
Again, I'm over the number 2 slot because nobody's hitting.
Yeah.
There's no one really performing. And maybe a month ago, I said, okay, yeah, why is that Laureano hitting second because has some. But anyway, this is what it is. But yeah, I when I went back and did the recap of what happened in the game that we lost 4-2 and Suarez gave up the home run, I go, oh, he walked someone with 2 outs.
Yeah.
I go, why?
Yeah,
why does he do that?
My buddy Michael, he agreed to disagree with me, kind of thing, because he thinks Miller should close, but the biggest thing he sees, and we have noted, is Suarez in a tight game, in a tie game, just doesn't seem to perform as well. Now, having said that, when you're coming in the 9th inning and the game is tied, what are you not going to use him? You're going to bring in Matsui instead, or are you going to bring in, somebody else? So, I have never liked the straight line. This is going to be the guy. If I were a manager, I'd be using everybody and anybody and just say, you know what?
Who's hot?
When you get a call on the phone is when I need you. I just don't believe in that whole, you got to you got to pitch the 9th and you got to pitch the 8th. And
there was another guy, reliever we used to have that was pretty good that had trouble with tie games, and that was Hoffman.
Yeah.
He struggled. I mean, he would struggle. It's like, yes, the Harper home run. But yeah, I wanted to talk about too. Your daughter, my niece, went to the Savannah Banana game, right?
Yeah,
and
I had a great time.
That thing for Trevor Hoffman, it sounded like a playoff game. Because the one thing I said, I go, why aren't they playing Hell's Bells?
They were.
And Cindy goes, I think they are. And I go, well, I can't hear it. Because everyone was so damn. And finally, I found another one that was from a different angle.
Yeah,
and you could hear it. Yeah, I said, "Oh my God, those people are going nuts." That must have been and so that relieves the question because he got a save in the game.
Yeah.
So what's the longest stretch from a pitcher's? Because he got his last save, and then he gets a save. What, 20 years later? Right?
Yeah,
that's got to be a record.
My buddy Michael, who's taking me to the game tomorrow night, he's ticked off. He's a season ticket holder. By the way, he's got great seats. I'm going to be like 7 rows behind home plate.
Right behind home plate.
So he had the opportunity to get tickets for both nights, and so I won't get too much of his personal business. He decided that Friday night would be better, So he went to the Friday night and he says, I got to tell you, I got up Sunday morning and I saw that. And he goes, now I'm ticked because we got Heath Bell and I like Heath Bell, but they got Trevor Hoffman. That's just not fair.
Yeah. I mean, I like Heath Bell, but it's like they were saying, oh, the second best closer in Padre history. I go, that's one thing the Padres have is they've had a history of great closers. So
they have a history of creating great closers. Because when we got a lot of these guys, they were not the closers.
Heath Bell was not. Well, he took over. He actually became, because Hoffman was kind of slowing down, and Heath Bell started coming on. But you remember Mark Davis and
one Cy Young.
Yeah, when Cy Young, you got Raleigh Fingers, Goose Gossage. I mean, the Padres have had closers.
Yeah. For whatever reason, the Padres have always had, or not always, excuse me, recently, in recent memory, have always seemed to have one of the best, if not the best, bullpens.
Yeah.
They really seem to always get the right people for the bullpen.
Well, I think it started with Kevin Towers, because Kevin Towers was big on the bullpen. And I think it's how small market teams have to compete, even though we do have a large payroll. But I think that's how, because you win a lot of games because you're a bullpen. And I think that's an area where, maybe you can't spend all the money on starting pitching, because again, there's that risk. You sign like Garrett Cole, who has a huge contract, Musgrove, who has a big contract, and they get hurt, and you're like going, ugh.
I just hope it doesn't. I just hope it behooves us to go out and get a couple of starters this year. We've got basically all positions covered except for first base already. I mean, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
And you got Musgrove coming back. You're still going to have Darvish. You got Vasquez. You got Pivetta. That's not even counting, who you could possibly sign.
And your bullpen should be set too. Even losing Suarez.
Now you got Miller that drops into the the closer role, and you still got Adam, and you'll have Adam after the first of the year, but you know what I mean. We have a very good team going forward, and they were talking to Preller. They've talked to him many times, but that's one of his things. Is like, we want to be good, not just now. We want to be good, And to me, that's the one thing that
you don't want the roller coaster.
A current and old fan can appreciate. You know what? I look forward to Padres season now for the right reasons, not just because, I miss baseball. Oh, in May. Well, what are we going to do now? Because we're terrible.
We're already 20 games out.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, and
I'm not even joking.
You get to May, you get to Memorial Day, and you're like, "Are you kidding me? We're like 15, 20 games out already."
Yeah.
It's not even a possibility, and that sucks for a baseball fan. When you're a baseball fan, that sucks. So
because like I said, it's a long season for the players. Yeah. It's a long season for the fans.
Yeah, because you want to watch something, and you turn on the TV, and you just can't quite get there. So
because I know when they were bad there for a while, I watched the games. But if it was I'm on the East Coast, so if it was a late game, I go, unless it was a young player, I would always watch young. I like to watch young players to see how they're going to do. But it's like, okay, I don't need to watch the game tonight. They've mathematically eliminated it, June 1st. But, so hopefully the Padres come alive. Pismo says the Phillies are now 6-4 up on the Mets. Oh, they're gonna be really angry if they lose this game, the Mets.
Well, it's making the Reds and the Giants pretty happy, because what? That's the guys that we're going after. So
yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, got to get our Padres going. And we'll get the bats rolling here.
Yeah, it'll happen.
A little bit of the same lineup tonight, but I think it's going to do it tonight. I got the feeling. I know we all went 5-2.
The Vasquez.
Vasquez. I know we went through the week and everything, but I'm putting it on the line. The Padres will score 7 or more runs tonight.
Wow.
I'm calling it. You can come and make fun of me on Discord if you don't believe it.
All right. Well, I hope you're right.
Yeah. I guess got this gut feeling tonight. The bats roll.
Yeah. You get Manny going, and the team. He puts the team on his back.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of pressure off the other players. If Tatis and Manny are hitting, it takes a lot of pressure off the other players. So
that's right. All right, man.
Guys. Take care, and we'll see you on the Discord. That's it. And maybe Jay will be here next week.
Dog.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.